This release is Basia on Broadway. Now, after going solo, your first album went platinum.
Yes.
And your second went gold. Yay!
Oh, the second one platinum too.
I beg your
Sorry
pardon.
to be so.
I beg your pardon.
To brag so much. I hate that, but I have to.
Well, you know, welcome to America. We do it that way. So
I'm learning.
two platinum albums in a row.
Yes.
All right. Do you feel pressure that they're like, you know, you got to keep producing platinum? Oh yes.
Well, I think so. Yeah, I do. I mean, you know, you work with a group of people who really, the record companies, who really believe in you, and they really do everything to help your career. So you kind of feel that you will let them down if your record doesn't sell very well, you know. But, you know, it's out of my hands. I try to do my best work as best as I possibly can, and if people like it, wonderful. But if they don't, next, I have to just try to make another one, you know.
Where do you get your inspiration for your music?
Well, because you know, English is not my first language, no. So I only started to speak it, you know, since I met that boyfriend, you know. I felt the need to communicate. So I had to always write about things which are familiar to me and I feel comfortable in. So obviously, I always write about myself, my friends, my loves, my family. I always believe that people relate to the songs which have actually equivalent in life, real stories, much more than the songs which could be, you know, that can kind of made up stories.
Yeah, interchangeable,
you know. Absolutely.
Or replaceable.
People are so, it sometimes surprises me when they write to me or I meet them after shows, how emotional they are about some songs which initially were incredibly important to me. Breakups, heartaches, whatever it is. Sometimes just joys, you know, having fun. Little children, you know, I have a song called Perfect Mother. So many mums responded to it, you know.
And how could you write a song about Perfect Mother? Well, because you have your child.
Well, yes, that's one thing. But my son is already big, so I would like to have another child, little one. And also, yeah, I remember those feelings when I was a very young mum, that I was kind of idealistic, and I still am, but at that time especially, you know, I was almost a teenager. And I remember telling my father defiantly that I'm going to show him what kind of parent I can be, you know, because everybody was worried that I was so young, how will I manage? And then...
Were you a single parent?
No.
No, you had this guy.
I had somebody. I had a husband.
So you had help?
Yes, I had help.
Right.
I lived actually away from my home when I had Nicholas, and I was a bit alone, and this because my husband was working and he was often away. He was also a musician, you know, very often on tours. So I was a bit, it was left to me only. But maybe because of that, I kind of brought him up the way I wanted. No, he's not brought up by grandmothers, you know, but you know, everything. Even
and how was the way you wanted?
Well, it's funny because I had no idea how to bring up children, so I got myself a book and I knew when to feed him, what he should eat, and nobody told me, you know, how I should do it. Like, I think I'm a little bit soppy mother. I could never refuse him anything, you know. But again, I think from my father I got that discipline thing. So I was very fair. I would like to think that I was very fair. You know, when he was naughty, he was told off, but he was never beaten or anything, you know. I think we had a good balance until now. I think we are lots of people...
Why? Because he's how old now, 18?
I mean, well, he's a teenager, you know, and he's got girlfriends and girlfriend. Okay, let's not exaggerate. I'm making a Casanova out of him. But do you understand? He is. A lot of people are jealous of our relationship, especially his friends. They say, you know, when we come home, you seem to like two friends, and I dread coming home. So some of his friends say that, you know. So we have that very close relationship, and he also tells me things that I never remember telling my mom. There was definitely that barrier, you know, between us, where there was that generation and this generation, and Nicholas seems to be like my friend almost.
But now he's getting ready to go off and leave the roost?
Oh yes, he started to, you know, think that way, and I accepted it. Maybe that's why I would like to have another child, because it was such a good specimen. I thought I could do another one.
You're good at it. Look, you're good at it. Let's take a break. We'll be right back with singer Basia, who's also a good mother. I'll bet. Accommodations for guests of Lauren Hutton and provided by the Regency Hotel. We're back with singer-songwriter, platinum album maker, Basia. Yes, platinum album maker indeed. Now, I have one of these quotes, which is pretty funny, because often you're misquoted in the press, but that doesn't bother me. We just bash on. Basia. You said, did you ever meet a Polish person who wasn't emotional? Chopin, the Pope? We start talking about our country or our mothers, and all of a sudden, everyone's crying.
Oh, that's true. Actually, I have said that. I remember it. Because it is true. I mean, you know, I can... Every time when I talk about my mom or my country, you know, and if somebody wants to wants me to elaborate on it, I always end up being tearful. I think lots of Polish people are like this. And once I tried to translate some lyrics to somebody in my family, and they all ended up crying. It was something very emotional about my country. I wrote a song called Yearning, which is exactly about missing your homeland.
Yeah.
So, and when I translated to them, they all ended up sobbing.
Well, now you live 2 hours from Warsaw, so you go back and forth all the time. You think people are happier now in Poland now?
Oh, yes. Oh, there's a huge change, the moods, and I think they don't even realize that. It's me when I come from time to time and
You're
I
outside.
see, absolutely. I can remember those family gatherings where people get drunk with vodka and complaining constantly.
About the Russians?
About,
or about what?
Everything, lack of food, lack of, you know, just the wages incredibly low, everything very overpriced, you know, no prospects. That was the worst thing, that there was no chance or no hope that something is going to change. Things changing so quickly. I think that took them totally by surprise because they thought, oh, maybe next generation will benefit from those changes, but it's not true. Actually, I can see it now, and I'm really happy. I don't have to send home anything apart from cash.
Yeah.
But before I used to send, you know, silly things that you would never, you know,
like
cosmetics, you know. Sometimes, I remember in times of shortages, even things like oil, you know, for cooking. It was really...
Wow.
It's
Basics.
just basics. Now they can hardly remember that they asked for it, you know,
Yeah.
because they already got spoiled.
Yeah.
Now everything is in shops. People still earn too little in comparison to the prices, but things are really, at least there's this chance that, you know, things can improve.
Yeah,
you
hope.
know. There's hope, and there's lots of, you know, and the private enterprise is encouraged. So there's lots of private businesses, people who have some energy can really put it into good use, and you know, they have little, or they open shops or some little factories or something, and there's some, you can see that people are getting wealthy because there's lots of good foreign cars on the streets, you know, something that, it shocks me, you know, the commercials on TV. New things.
My
when
word.
I lived there was no commercials, nothing was, you know, there was no adverts for anything, and now...
No commerce.
Yeah, it's capitalism now.
So are women opening businesses and shops, or not so much now?
No, women too. Women always were very emancipated, really, in my country. They were very much treated the same way as men. Even in the wages, there was no feminism in the same sense of the word.
You didn't need it.
There was really not such big need. I never noticed that there was. But so now there are these businesswomen, like everywhere else, you know, showing... everybody, of course, is slimming. That's a new thing in Poland. You understand? There's craze about losing weight. And something that I only know from America and England, you know, now is in Poland. Even teenagers, my nieces, who are 13 years old, you know, I see them trying to get slim fast and exercising to Cindy Crawford's videos, you know. That's a very new thing. Very new thing for Poland.
All right, tell me about Basia on Broadway.
Well, as you can see, it's a kind of big title. It wasn't my idea.
It's all right, don't be embarrassed.
Everything I told you about myself, you know, I come from this little town, and where nothing is happening, really. You know, nobody knows about this town. So it seems the longest way from little Jaworzno, where I came from, to Jaworzno. To Broadway in New York.
Jaworzno to Broadway.
Yes, exactly.
That's great.
That would be a better title.
Good title.
But, you know, it was an idea of my manager for whom nothing is really too big. You understand? When he told me for the first time that maybe I should perform a few concerts on Broadway, I thought, nah, this is, I'm not Liza Minnelli, you know. I always associate Broadway with big names, big shows, and of course I grew up in Poland knowing what Broadway was, and there's such incredible history and tradition and the fame behind this word, and I thought, you know, nah, not me. But I thought, there's no risk, because if it's not good, we won't release it. But it would be good to document something which maybe will never happen again. You know, Broadway is not the thing that happens every day in your life.
Well, I know you're going back to see your lover. I'm glad. And I had a good time with you. Thanks for
Fantastic.
coming.
Thank you very much, Laura.
And thanks for hanging out with us tonight. And hope we see you soon.